It's time
to fire this thing up.
Hit it. Well, good deal, you made it. Hi, I'm John Graviscus. It's great to have you back out on the water. Today's program is really geared towards boat owners that have an older craft where the gel coat on the vessel has kind of washed out from the sun over time. I'm talking about gel coat oxidation. We're going to be putting to the test a relatively new marine paint in the industry. And this is actually quite unique because there's very few steps involved in transforming a boat, and everything comes in a 5-gallon bucket. Now here's the big deal. They're telling us that you can paint a boat up to 28 foot in length for under $500. If it works, this is going to be very, very exciting. Now, the program is also going to be jam-packed full of tips and information. Speaking of tips, we're going to have a lot of guest experts from the marine industry joining us today. This first one is from a company called Starbright. His name is Bill Lindsay. So Mr. Lindsay, if you could, give us some more information.
John, we all know Startron. It's a great fuel product. It improves fuel economy, engine performance. It's easy to use, economical, and all that. But there's sometimes when extreme conditions require an extreme product.
When you're talking extreme conditions, are you referring to guys using their boats primarily going at very, very slow speeds for a lot of hours at a time? I'm talking about like maybe trolling for fishing. What happens on the inside of the engine that could kind of kill your fuel performance and just the performance of the engine?
What happens is if you got incomplete combustion, you're getting carbon deposits. That's what a carbon deposit is. It's unburnt fuel. The problem with a deposit is once it starts to build, it builds on itself and it just gets worse.
Okay, this is Bill Lindsay, and Bill is the Vice President of Marketing out here at Starbright. And they are the parent company to manufacturing this product. It's called Startron. What have your chemists come up with to quickly, efficiently knock off those deposits so that we get that great fuel economy again?
Our chemists are always looking for the latest, greatest compounds for any of our products. They came across compounds that were extremely effective at removing carbon deposits. So what we did was we formulated those, and then we added in the Startron enzymes, which is the plus.
Okay, so this is now called Startron's Ring Clean Plus. So if somebody at home trolls, okay, like you and I do, okay, they're out for mahi-mahi dolphin, okay, if they're trying to get salmon, maybe it's lake trout, whatever, how much do we add to our fuel tank and how often should we be doing it if this is kind of our primary use of the boat?
It's 1 ounce to treat 10 gallons of fuel, so a 16-ounce bottle will treat 160 gallons of fuel, and I'd suggest using it maybe every 4th or 5th tank of fuel.
Where is it available nationwide, and how can people get more information?
They go to starbright.com. They can find a retail store list for the stores near them. You can also find the products at virtually any marine retailer, either brick and mortar or online in the US or Canada. And while you're on that website, starbright.com, check out our how-to videos.
ShipShape TV, the global leader in boat improvement, is being brought to you in part by Sunbrella Marine Beautiful Fabrics. For above and below deck, Sunbrella, we live to be on the water. By Boat Outfitters, your source for replacement hardware, custom king starboard doors, tackle centers, and more. Need it? They'll build it. Visit boatoutfitters.com to update or customize your boat today. And finally, made possible by Yamaha. Reliability starts here. Welcome back. This is American Custom Yachts, a real working 28-acre boatyard / boat building facility
residing in Stuart, Florida. It's ShipShape TV's home base.
Ideally located, the complex is situated on the shores of the Okeechobee Waterway, which happens to connect the Atlantic Ocean to the Gulf of Mexico. Now, once again, here's the founder and host of ShipShape TV, John Graviscus.
All right, guys, it's time to get into our marine surplus project boat back behind us. This is a 20-foot aquasport. And last Saturday, I went to their annual flea market right after Thanksgiving. And I was talking with Austin Wagner, the owner, and I said, Austin, the gel coat on this boat is really flat. We've got some damaged areas. You know, we want to donate this to charity, okay, this Bubba Foundation. What do you recommend? And he showed me a display of a completely new do-it-yourself paint kit that anybody can get. And it was just priced at $499. And apparently every single thing that you need to paint a boat up to 28 foot is inside the kit. And this sounded actually too good to be true. So what I did is I reached out to actually the ownership at EMC, they're the parent company of the Genius Bucket, and who we now have on the program is John Boswell, one of the owners. And John, what exactly is EMC?
We're Engineer Marine Coatings. We have a long line of professional products that we have had in the market since 2010, and now we've moved into the DIY. We got a lot of demand for our product, and everybody wanted it easier, so that's what we did with the bucket. Okay,
now I see that we have like a picture of Einstein on the bucket. EMC, that was kind of his
yes, sir. We got EMC squared,
mathematical
right, right. We're twice the solids, twice the warranty, so we just went with that all in the quantum product plan.
Traditionally, painting a boat is very expensive. Okay, if you take it to, I'll give you an example. My 57-foot Monterey, that was a $100,000 paint job that we had to pay for. Okay, this is a kit for $499. I don't get it, but we're going to find out a little bit about it. Now, I want to show everybody what's in the kit, John. And you can see that the bucket is just chock full of everything. And could you kind of highlight what we're looking at here?
So we have a pre-taped plastic. We have the finished brushes, the small tight areas that you have to get into, like your through holes and stuff like that. You've got your gloves, mixing cups, stir sticks, rags for cleaning.
Here's the paint. Okay, that's a two-part paint. What kind of paint is that?
This is a polyurethane acrylic paint.
All right. And how is that with like technology? How does that compare to like today's real popular marine paints out on the market?
This product is 20 years ahead of its time. So.
Okay, how so?
Because it's new technology, it's a high solids, it's fully repairable, it covers twice as far, lasts 3 times longer than any product out there.
I see that you have all the directions to do it and everything else. Austin was saying that if the finish, you know, is just oxidized old gel coat, you can paint right to the gel coat, you don't even need a primer. And you don't sand. And you don't brush it. And again, this just sounded like there's no way, but I got to give it a try. I mean, $499. Worst case scenario, we're putting you to the test today.
We're used to that.
Is we put it on and, you know, we sand it off and we do something different. We had to do some spot repair on the Aquasport. We had some spider cracks, and I think with a die grinder, went ahead and ground those out, and we filled it in with super polyfill from fiberglass coating. And we went ahead and we sanded the boat to 220. Do you need to sand the boat before you put on the paint?
Not normally, John. If it's just oxidized and, you know, the boat's in good shape, you don't have any cracking or major chips or anything, you can just take these scour pads, make the product, you know, go down the side of the boat with these, rubbing it, making it water break free, which is literally just making sure the water flows smoothly over the side of the boat.
Well, let's do this. Let's go to break. But when we come back, we'll show how to apply it to the boat. But in the meantime, if somebody during the break wanted to check you out on your website, could you direct them?
Yeah, absolutely. Just go to geniusbucket.com.
We'll be back right after this.
Stay bolted. ShipShape TV will be back in a snap.
from the start of your outboard until you return to the dock. Make sure your boating experience is always fun and enjoyable by remembering that maintenance matters. Presented by Yamaha.
John, today's boats contain more electronics than ever before, so it's important that you take care of your electrical system.
Guys, this is David Mueller, one of the master marine technicians at Yamaha, and their team has kind of assembled a maintenance matters guide. We're going to get into that in just a little bit. But David, isn't it true that every different size outboard and horsepower kind of has its own specs when it comes to batteries? Because there's a lot of different groups and size batteries, right?
That's true. As engines have gotten more sophisticated, the ignition systems have become battery dependent. So it's important to have enough battery without having too much.
Okay, do you see on this battery how there are wing nuts? Okay, this is actually a no-no, right?
Yeah, those do get loose really easy. So ABYC standards now dictate that you use a standard nut and a lock washer.
Okay, is there any way to keep that, I don't know, corrosion or gunk from these lead posts here? Because I get it all the time.
Yeah, everybody does. And it not only looks bad, but it also can compromise your electrical system. Use a battery terminal cleaner, spray and protectant like that, and that helps keep them clean by leaving a waxy film when you're done spraying it. It dries into a waxy film. There's another little trick that I'll show you here that involves a couple of pennies.
Okay.
And what happens is you take a couple of older pennies, not the new ones, but the older ones that actually contain copper, and glue those down using epoxy about 1 inch
That's this right here.
inside of your terminal posts.
Okay.
As that battery charges and that hydrogen gas comes out and looks for a place to settle, it will actually settle on the copper as opposed to the lead.
And that keeps your posts free and clear.
That's right.
And then you can just pop those off if they're corroded, and you can put on a couple new pennies.
That's right. You put
Or old pennies.
Clean that penny up, put it back in your pocket.
Show everybody the guide. It's free. You printed over 1 million of them. And where does somebody at home get one?
These are available at Yamaha dealers nationwide. Okay, this maintenance matters, and it covers everything from soup to nuts as far as taking care of an outboard motor. And you can also find these things online at maintenance.outboards.com. And if you have any questions or looking for a battery, you can always go to your Yamaha dealer.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.
John, last week we installed some really nice umbrella terry cloth covers for your seats on your new Project CV boat. And this week I'd like to talk about how you can use the same fabric to protect your engine covers.
Is there an advantage to this umbrella terry over a traditional cowling cover that you could get from an engine manufacturer, guys?
There really is. One advantage is this is a knit product, so it's sort of like socks. This is going to stretch and form fit to your motor, so over the cowling it'll look better, especially with the modern designs and real round effects of motors. Second advantage is with the bulk, it's going to be more scratch resistant. Somebody bumps up against it, it's not going to ding it, that type of thing.
Okay, I have Yamaha 300. It's a very popular motor today. You have the world's largest custom canvas shop here at Canvas Designers, and I know that you have the CAD designs for my Yamaha 300s, but do you offer them for all the popular motors out there, and can you sell them to everybody across the country?
Yes, John, this is, the 300 is a very popular motor for us, so we have all the popular motor patterns, I should say, so that we can pretty much fabricate any motor cover for a model. And this product is an upgrade product, which makes a really nice finished product.
Have you ever, guys, come back from fishing and you see the pelicans or birds will actually land on your cowlings? And if you were at the dock and if they were to actually, have an accident, that's very acidic, all right? And that can damage the finish. If they were to have an accident on this terry, okay, is it easily cleanable?
Yeah, this product is made with the very same fiber we use to make our Sunbrella topping material, so you can throw it in the washing machine, add bleach, clean it right up. Plus, it's going to resist fading.
Take a look at my CV and take a look at how you can tie your seat covers in with your engine. It's really a luxurious look. Okay,
Very nice look.
How do they buy them?
Easiest way is canvasdesigners.com.
And Bill, how do people at home get more information on any of the Sunbrella products, especially the Sunbrella Terry, because it's very, very nice material?
Just simply go sunbrella.com/shipshape.
Welcome back. It's time to get into today's project with John.
Welcome back. We're about to paint the Aquasport. During the break, we went ahead and we put a little bit of masking tape down. We kind of want to protect what we've already put some finish work into. And we again have John Boswell on the program from EMC. And again, the name of that company?
Engineered Marine Coating.
Engineered Marine Coating. You actually are engineering some paint. This is not like traditional marine paint. Okay,
No.
and I'm very, very excited about this. We went ahead and I had the guys sand the boat to 220 grit. I just learned that I didn't have to put them through all of that work, man. You can actually just use these scour pads and you just get rid of any wax or any debris or anything that's on regular gel coat. And naturally, you're gonna have to kind of clean that up. What would you use?
We have the surface prep cleaner that comes in the kit.
Right?
Using your gloves and respirator, you'll saturate this rag. Wipe the surface area followed by the dry rag behind it to remove any of that debris.
Okay, there's no primer here, guys, so we're going right into paint. And I pulled out a lot of cans out of the bucket. All right, what's the mixing ratio here, and what do we do to kind of make our finish paint?
It's 2 parts of the base to 1 part activator to 1 part reducer.
Okay.
All right, so you would take your cup, and you see here indicated as 2 to 1 to 1 mix
All right,
ratio.
see why they call it genius in a bucket, guys? They make it to where you can't mess up. Okay, this is fantastic. Okay, so normally on marine paint, you have to kind of let that set up for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Does that lend true here?
No, sir, it's about 5 minutes. So by the time you've mixed everything, poured it in the pan, got your rollers ready, you're ready to paint.
Let's talk about rollers, because sometimes you have to use the right applicator or the job is not going to come out great. How many different trial and errors did you guys go through until you achieved that right roller that's just going to make the job look mint?
Yeah, we went through about 80 different types of rollers before we actually found the one that worked right.
Okay, so guys, if you're getting this paint and whatever, don't go to a home center and use some rollers. Just use the ones that's been designed for this product. Now, you were saying this is a 2-coat process. The first coat, how thick are we rolling this paint on?
You're actually going to do a thin coat. You're just going to stretch the paint across the surface of the boat.
We've got some pretty dark gray here. Is it going to cover it?
Absolutely.
Okay. We're probably going to have to wait, though, before we put on that second coat. What's the lead time? It's probably 75 degrees today. Mm-hmm. How long?
Probably about 3 hours, you'll be fine.
Okay, so we put on that second coat. This is going to be kept on a trailer, okay? Could I, with your product, could I paint the bottom?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Where might you not want to do that if you're a boat owner? And I'm talking about if you're keeping it in,
Yeah.
you know, the water, or if it's on a lift, or if it's on a trailer. There's different applications. Right. But if you're like keeping a boat in the water, can you still paint the bottom?
As long as it's not a salt water, you're fine.
Okay, but if it's salt water, you maybe want to go with the anti-foul paint.
Absolutely, yes.
But this will work both above the water line as well as below the water line. Guys, this is exciting. Right now, we have a couple of bonus minutes left over, so let's real quick hear from another guest expert in the marine industry. This is going to be awesome. So everybody, let's listen up.
Hey John, today this tip is all about the ladies.
Who we have on the program, guys, is Ty Burhoff, and Ty is actually the better half of Surehold Industries. Your husband Barry's been on my program. I know him. He's been on the program a ton of times. And I want to talk about the most stressful time in family life on a boat, probably. Mm-hmm. All right, what's your experience?
Docking. You know, Barry's got the helm, we're coming into marina. Usually it's my job to get the lines, John, and it's very, very stressful.
Are you good at like watching John Wayne movies and see how he lassos, you know,
I'm good at watching him, but not doing the lassoing, no way.
Okay, because what I have here, guys, this is a dock line, and back behind me we have a piling, and that's pretty far away, and unless you're really good at throwing this thing, you're probably going to miss.
I miss all the time.
You ever get yelled at?
Yes.
I know that I've actually expressed louder volume when I was talking to my better
it's
half.
It's all good. It's just very stressful.
This happens.
Yep.
What have you come up with that we're kind of sarcastically calling it the marriage saver?
Marriage saver,
Okay,
yep.
but what do we have here?
Okay, so we have our Surehold handle here. On the top of the Surehold handle, all I have is our boat hook, John. It's one of our many attachments we have.
Okay.
And this is the Dockerini. This is what I'm featuring here today. So the Dockerini just Velcro's on. Super easy to any Surehold handle. You get it really tight on there.
Okay, now I have a dock line, okay? And do I have to make like a loop here?
Yep, put it through the loop.
Okay, I got a loop. Okay, yep. How do we put it onto our device?
So you just put the loop there. You attach the line like this, and there, you're done. So what this does, look at that, it creates a lasso.
Holy mackerel, you could put that over any piling,
Yep.
and then you just cinch it back
And then
you got the line.
I actually just walk back and it lets
So there's
loose.
no more yelling.
Nope, no more.
Okay, there's no more, none of that.
None of that.
Okay, and guys, here it is. Okay, this is the Dockerini, and it sells for how much?
Under 10 bucks.
Where can you buy it?
Any boating retail store.
Ty, you're doing a lot of tips for the crew members that might have assigned different chores than the exterior of the boat.
Correct.
Okay, I know Barry cleans
He
your
loves
boat,
to do the outside, yeah. And
You
I
kinda-
do the inside.
Okay,
Yeah.
so how do ladies, how can they get tips not only for docking, but how can they get better tips for like cooking on the boat,
yeah.
cleaning the galley,
Oh,
taking
that's-
care of the family, all that kind of stuff?
It's easy, John. You just go to surehold.com and we've got our clean and simple tips there right on the website.
That's right. Our project today is pretty much complete, which means we're now back on the water with John.
Well, it is a spectacular day to be out on the water, and welcome back. And our goal this time was to test for everybody at home a relatively new do-it-yourself paint kit put out by a company called Engineered Marine Coatings, or EMC. And I want everybody to take a look at where we began on the hull sides of the Aquasport. We had the vinyl decals that we did have to remove. We sanded the boat to 220, thinking that that's what you had to do to paint it. With this kit, you don't. All right, you just use those green pads and you scrub the hull side. You wipe it down with the solvent, you mix up your paint. 2 coats of paint, guys. Look at the transformation. This is what it looked like before. Here it is after, okay? And this was painting a boat for less than $500. And what I'm thinking about doing, guys, is, you know, because eventually this boat's going to be going to charity, is maybe we could use a different color paint and actually paint the hull bottom and really transform it and make it look like $1 million. And we need to thank a lot of people. We need to thank everybody at the flea market over at Marine Surplus. Okay, they have their annual after Thanksgiving Day sale. Austin Wagner was helping us out on the program. He turned me on to this kit, this Genius Bucket. John Boswell from Engineered Marine Coatings. We had Bill Lindsay from Starbright, Bill McDaniel from Sunbrella. And those engine covers on my CV, my Yamaha 300s, I gotta tell you, that was such a great idea. That was Mike Erickson from Canvas Designers. He actually made it to where it's just one slip cover that goes over both motors instead of 2 individual covers. It saves a lot of time, and I think it looks great. It also ties in with my seat covers that I have for all my vinyl on the 32-foot CV. We had a lot of other guest experts in the marine industry joining us today. My guys worked real hard, but guys, we're out of time. So how about this? How about until we see each other next week? Okay, get out there, start making your stuff shipshape. We will see you on the next go-around.
closed captioning provided by the over 2-decade video library at the all-new ShipShape TV website. Available now worldwide online with paid subscription. Makes a great gift with a special boater search engine for ease of use. Hurry, the introductory price ends soon, so watch any episode, old or new, on any device at the all-new ShipShapeTV.com.